I'm about to show you how I mix Spinna Benz on Greenlight single Face Down. This is probably one of my favorite verses from Spinna Benz, and the mix was so simple. So make sure you watch until the end. Now this one is almost about 500K. Well deserved to hit 1 million soon. And if you want to work, you can book me at mixbyl.com. Let's get straight to the mix.
I came with my chains on, I wasn't dare tuck him. Another nigga that he came with me, you better not dare touch him. Grave digger, watch what you say or you'll be dead from it. My temper hot and now it's time to get some lead.
So for this particular record, I ended up going with the auto-tune artist, which I just took this retune speed to about 10 and it's humanized to about 10. And I made sure that this format was turned on, with again just matching the key to the instrumental that they were actually using. Next, I ended up going to the Waves channel strip, which I just got this high pass to about 119. I'm adding around 7K. I'm adding around 1.5 dB. Around 5K, I'm adding around 2.1 dB with a sharper bell. Then I'm taking away 1.8 dB, around 1400. Next, I am deducting about 4 dB out of 450. It was most likely so I can just clean up the vocal to sit inside that 2-track instrumental. It depends. I don't know why I did that, but that's why I did it for this record. It's probably what I'm thinking. Then for the compressor, I actually have a pretty intense compressor on this channel strip to about 8, and then the threshold is to about 1.3 dB, and then the release is about 0.40. So I just say like a medium release, right? Now for the gate section, I ended up taking this threshold to about 13, this range to about 40, and also this release to about 4. So just with the auto tune in this channel strip, let's hear this on and off and let's see what it's actually doing to Spinna Benz vocals.
I came with my chains on, I wasn't dare tuck him. Another nigga that he came with me, you better not dare touch him. Grave digger, watch what you say or you'll be dead from it. My head off of my split. I came with my chains on, I wasn't dare tuck him. Another nigga that he came with me, you better not dare touch him. Grave digger, watch what you say or you'll be dead from it.
Fire. You can just hear night and day what that's doing. Next, I ended up going with the Virtual Mix Rack by Slate Digital, which I ended up going to this vintage FG 116. I got the input to about -31 dB, the output to about -20.3, and the ratio hitting around 4. I say we got like a medium attack and pretty much a medium release. For the saturation, I ended up going with the FG 73, which I only got this going to about 26 dB. Now to give this vocal just a little bit more, I would say some more presence, I ended up taking this Revival and just adding about 3.20. This is like some sauce right here. Ended up adding some thickness to about 2.50 also. And then next, of course, this is like the cherry on top. Ended up taking this FG Bomber to present around 8% in default drive, and that's all that's doing. Then I ended up going with my, say one of my favorite de-essers, around 4K. I'm just taking about 19.5. So just with the de-esser and the Virtual Mix Rack, let's listen to what this does.
I came with my chains on, I wasn't dare tuck him. Another nigga that he came with me, you better not dare touch him. Grave digger, watch what you say or you'll be dead from it. My top the head off of my split. I came with my chains on, I wasn't dare tuck him. Another nigga that he came with me, you better not dare touch him. Grave digger, watch what you say or you'll be dead from it.
That's Slate Digital, especially around that time when I was like mixing Spinna Benz and Greenlight a lot. That Slate Digital was like my best friend. Like I was using that 24/7, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now for the multi-band compressor, I ended up using this C6. I actually ended up using this from scratch. So I just ended up taking these highs to about 15K, this mid to about 4K, and these lows to about 1. I'm pretty much deducting about 2.3 dB, and I did adjust the range, the attack, and the release. Can't tell you why exactly I did it, but these are the settings. Took out around -0.4, around that mid-range. Also, I didn't touch around here, and then of course we just added some brightness around this 1.2. I just end up taking this range to about -2.9. Also kept everything here the same, didn't do too much here except for apply about 2.9 in a specific area around 8K pretty much. And then one of the best compressors I would say from Waves, I ended up using the CLA 3A. For Spinna Benz vocals, I felt like this always was a great compressor to use, so I ended up just taking this peak to about 3.47 and this gain to about 4.26. So just with the CLA 3A and the C6, the multi-band compressor, let's listen to this on and off and let's like hear what that's doing.
I came with my chains on, I wasn't dare tuck him. Another nigga that he came with me, you better not dare touch him. Grave digger, watch what you say or you'll be dead from it. My head off of my split. I came with my chains on, I wasn't dare tuck him. Another nigga that he came with me, you better not dare touch him. Grave digger, watch what you say or you'll be dead from it.
That CLA 3A is probably playing a big part in in the mix itself, it's him. Now I probably should have let you listen to this on and off before I went ahead and I'm gonna basically show you what I did with the EQ and then just go move on to the vocal effects. I should have just showed you this last though, but it's cool, whatever. So pretty much just after I did everything with that, the last thing I did to just get that vocal to just get a little bit, give that a little bit more clarity, I ended up just taking out 3 dB out of 1K. And again, I was probably just competing with the beat, because that's kind of what I'm hearing when I'm mixing, is just moving frequencies around to just fit and complement each other. You know what I'm saying? If one is missing, the other can kind of like move stuff around, shift stuff around. It's kind of weird, but my ears hear stuff and I attack the frequency, or you know, I sweep and then attack whatever I feel like is not sounding right. So cool, ended up taking about 3 dB out of that. And then for the vocal effects, you know, I'm going with the Reverb. Reverb is cool, especially again about a year or two ago. Reverb was the main thing I was using before I started using Valhalla Vintage Verb a lot. Ended up taking this reverb type to chamber. I know I adjusted some of these EQ settings here. Took this pre-delay to about 8, this time to about 3.67, and honestly everything else here is probably the same. This is a go-to reverb, honestly is, and if you're not using it, you should definitely try it out. But what I ended up doing just to clean up some of that reverb, ended up taking this high pass to about 380, and then I ended up taking a low pass to about 1200 just to clean out some of that reverb. I used to do that a lot, but with Reverb you can do it too. You could just EQ right here also, but I know that with Valhalla Vintage Verb I'll just kind of EQ out the reverb as I go with that plugin, you know. But that's what I did for this record, so we're just gonna let it fly and keep it moving, right? And then of course, you know what we're going with for the delay. Now, this is one of my classic favorite settings that I'm always using. Go to BB Duck, taking it to present, and again, this is just a preset BB Duck quarter note mod delay, and I just make some minor adjustments, right? But what gave it some sauce and some flavor was I did end up using a Valhalla Vintage Verb, which I just took around 40%, and I went with a preset called 8 plate, and these are these settings just to get that delay a little bit more flavor than it just being a delay. You know what I'm saying? Like, let it delay into something. And then just for like his ad-libs, this was pretty much like my signature effect for particularly spinner bends. This was like one of my favorite go-tos for spinner bends, because sometimes he would like that distortion, that telephone effect. So whatever he asked for right then and there, it was just like, okay, I could just turn it on using this CLA effects, right? So pretty much we got a couple things turned off here, you see, but we have the quarter note turned on, we have the reverb turned on, and then we have this EQ turned on the telephone. So again, that's just sitting at 0. The reverb is at 4, and then we got this quarter note sitting at 0. So pretty much it's all default, just pushing it a little bit, and that's all we did with the ad-libs. So just with the delay, the reverb, and just that minor EQ, let's give that a listen on and off.
I came with my chains on, I wouldn't dare touch him. And that little nigga that he came with me, you better not dare touch him. Grave digger, watch what you say or you'll be dead from it. My head off of my splinter. I came with my chains on, I wouldn't dare touch him. And that little nigga that he came with me, you better not dare touch him. Grave digger, watch what you say or you'll be dead from it.
And with that, that's how you can mix vocals for spinner bends. I hope that this video helped you. If it did, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and we got more content on the way.
Head off of my splinter. I came with my chains on, I wouldn't dare touch him. And that little nigga that he came with me, you better not dare touch him. Grave digger, watch what you say or you'll be dead from it. My temper hot and now it's time to get some lead thumping. Sister shot, shorty flip the clip, that's how they know it's me. They gon' need to close this fucking casket, it's a horror scene.